In the autumn of 2023, a young girl accompanied her parents on a trip to a local park. Eager to explore, she set off on her bicycle, a joyful adventure that would soon turn into a parent's worst nightmare. When she failed to return, her distraught parents immediately alerted the authorities. The police launched a large-scale search, their efforts intensifying with each passing moment. Soon they received a disturbing clue, a piece of information that dramatically shifted the course of the investigation. Detectives relentlessly pursued every lead, determined to unearth the truth behind the girl's disappearance, a pursuit that ultimately led to an ending no one could have anticipated. Sharlotte Sheena, born on September 4, 2014, in the quaint American town of Greenfields, New York, was a vibrant and spirited child. Growing up in a loving family, she was surrounded by the warmth of her parents and the playful companionship of her two sisters, one older and one younger. Sharlotte cherished spending time with her friends, sharing laughter and adventures with her sisters, and embarking on nature excursions with her parents. Greenfields, a town with a population of just over 5,000, was nestled amidst lush forests, serene lakes, and picturesque parks, providing the Sheena family with ample opportunities for outdoor recreation. On September 30th, 2023, at the age of 9, Sharlotte and her family, accompanied by friends, ventured to a national park located approximately 18 kilometers from their home. She had eagerly anticipated the outing, excited to ride bicycles with her friends amidst the park's natural beauty. Upon arrival, the families established a base camp, and the children quickly embarked on their cycling adventure. The park featured a network of circular paths, one of which ran near the campsite, making it the perfect choice for Sharlotte and her friends. They began their ride around 6:15 in the evening, promising to return to the adults before nightfall. After completing several laps, Sharlotte's friends decided to head back, but Sharlotte, still brimming with energy, declared her desire for one more circuit. With a wave, her friends cycled toward the campsite, while she pedaled in the opposite direction. As time stretched on, her parents grew increasingly anxious, realizing that Sharlotte should have returned long ago. A single loop on the path took no more than 10 minutes, even at a leisurely pace, yet the girl remained missing. Overcome with worry, the adults initiated their own desperate search. A chilling discovery awaited them near the circular path around 6:45. Sharlotte's bicycle lay abandoned by the trail, yet the girl herself was nowhere to be found. The parents' immediate fear was abduction. There was no plausible reason for her to leave her bike mid-ride and wander off. A fleeting thought about mechanical issues was quickly dismissed. The wheels were intact and the chain seemed fine. Wasting no time, they contacted the police. Within 15 minutes, officers arrived and initiated a search. The abandoned bicycle alone suggested a grim possibility. Sharlotte had likely been kidnapped. However, they couldn't rule out the chance of her simply being lost, and so a thorough search began. The police secured the park, closing it to visitors, and recorded the personal information of everyone exiting the area. While some offered to assist, their efforts would only hinder the investigation. The officers meticulously combed the woods. Initially, they focused on the vicinity of the circular path, but found nothing. Expanding their search to encompass the entire park proved challenging. Its area spanned approximately 25 square kilometers. They called in park rangers, the fire department, and state police for assistance. The FBI joined the investigation, focusing on identifying a potential kidnapper. They sought surveillance footage from nearby cameras and roads, reasoning that any abductor would have needed a vehicle. The agents also requested visitor information from the Park Service, which required registration and payment for entry. Although time-consuming, they started analyzing the database, while also seeking phone location data from mobile carriers to look for unregistered visitors. As the FBI sifted through park visitor data, cross-referencing it with mobile phone locations, a suspect remained elusive. The data provided by cell tower triangulation, rather than precise GPS, was time-consuming to analyze. Despite an exhaustive search lasting late into the night, the first day yielded no results. The following morning, the search intensified. Over 400 individuals joined the effort. Authorities appealed to the public through media outlets, urging anyone with information to come forward. The case quickly garnered widespread attention, prompting the state governor to visit the park and offer support to the family. An Amber Alert was finally issued after initial hesitation, as law enforcement wanted to ensure Sharlotte hadn't simply wandered off within the park. Now, abduction seemed the most likely explanation. Hope dwindled as the second day passed without a trace. The FBI's digital search also stalled. Law enforcement understood that the first few hours after an abduction were crucial, offering the highest chance of a safe return. The passing of 24 hours, the statistical odds of finding Sharlotte alive diminished drastically. Refusing to surrender, Sharlotte's parents joined the search again early the next morning. Meanwhile, around 4:20 a.m., an unidentified man approached the family's home. He deposited a letter in the mailbox and quickly departed. A police officer watching the house considered the visitor another well-wisher offering support, but something felt off. Upon inspection, the letter revealed a ransom demand, $50,000 for Sharlotte's release. The note was rushed to the lab, where experts discovered fingerprints. The first attempt to match the prints came back empty, but the second attempt revealed a hit. 47-year-old Craig Nelson Ross Jr., with a record dating back to 1999. Ross lived just a few miles from Sharlotte's home. Police discovered that Ross was living in a trailer on his mother's property, located 22 kilometers from Greenfield. Securing a warrant, a SWAT team of over 30 officers, supported by helicopters, stormed the trailer with flashbangs. Ross resisted but was quickly apprehended, but Sharlotte was nowhere in sight. Frantically searching the trailer, officers found Sharlotte hidden beneath a pile of rags in a closet. Alive and unharmed, Sharlotte was rushed to the hospital for evaluation. Cleared by doctors, she was soon reunited with her overjoyed family. Remarkably, just 10 minutes before Sharlotte was found, her mother, still in the park, had a premonition that her daughter would return home that day. 10 minutes later, police delivered the news of Charlotte's rescue. Detectives apprehended Ross, denying him bail, and subjected him to interrogation. Due to the recent nature of the case, the specifics of the conversation with the abductor remain undisclosed. However, he apparently denied any guilt, leading to the case's progression to trial. Some details about the suspect and his motives have surfaced. Ross's former girlfriend revealed to reporters that she had obtained a restraining order against him back in 2017. At the time, she resided with him, his 12-year-old son, and 14-year-old daughter in his mother's residence. During an altercation, he assaulted and attempted to strangle her, prompting her to seek police intervention. According to her, Ross was capable of planning Charlotte's abduction for many months. She revealed that the man was lazy and always tried to live at someone else's expense. Mostly he tried to sit on his mother's neck. The man made her feel sorry for him because he had a serious illness and his mother agreed to support him. Regarding Sharlotte, Ross's former girlfriend believes that he initially chose her family to receive a ransom. Even though the girl's parents were of the middle class, her late grandfather had quite a lot of money. Back in 1998, he slipped and sustained a severe injury, leading to a lawsuit against the city authorities and a compensation exceeding $2 million. Despite the passage of over 2 decades, this story remained in the collective memory of Greendale's residents. Ross's former girlfriend stated that he was also aware of this payment and likely decided to profit from the kidnapping. Considering Charlotte's abduction from the park, when she was left unsupervised for only a few minutes, Ross must have been watching her. In the opinion of his former girlfriend, he could have been watching the family for a long time, studying their routine and waiting for the right moment. The fact that Ross planned this crime in advance was evidenced by another fact. According to his ex-girlfriend, a few months before this happened, the man hung tarpaulins over all the windows of his trailer, even though he had never closed them before. Given that Sharlotte was found there, this may indicate initial preparation. Ross's neighbors also shared troubling observations about him. One woman recalled an incident where Ross attempted to lead away her 10-year-old son, necessitating her intervention. Another neighbor mentioned that his family had always been problematic and Ross had been regularly going to neighbors since childhood, begging for food. Later, police disclosed additional details about Ross's criminal history. A year prior to assaulting his girlfriend, he was arrested for stalking, but received no serious punishment. And just a month before Charlotte's abduction, he was a suspect in the abuse of his underage relative. But the case was closed due to lack of evidence. Reporters also spoke with his son, who at that time was already of age. He stated that he hated him and wished his father would die in prison, but did not share any details. Approximately a month after Ross's arrest, police made a very disappointing statement. In addition to kidnapping, the man was charged with sexual assault of Sharlotte. Apparently, while Ross was holding the girl in his trailer, he managed to abuse her, but the police have not yet disclosed any details. Ross refused to admit his guilt on the violence charges and plans to defend himself in court. Given that the kidnapped girl was found in his trailer, he has no chance of avoiding punishment. In addition to fingerprints on the ransom letter, investigators found indirect evidence confirming his involvement. After studying the location data of all phones in the park at the time of the kidnapping, they found that Ross's smartphone was one of them. Thus, there's little doubt that Ross will face imprisonment. However, as the trial preparation unfolds, detectives are exploring Ross's potential involvement in two high-profile unsolved cases. In August 2003, an 18-year-old girl named Jennifer Hammond was selling magazines in a town called Milton. She was supposed to meet colleagues after her shift, but never showed up at the appointed place. 6 years later, her remains were found near a lake 18 kilometers from the city. It is noteworthy that the girl disappeared just a few hundred meters from the house where Ross lived at that time. 2 years later, 19-year-old Christina White left a trailer park 1 kilometer from Milton and disappeared. A year later, police found her remains, but the case could not be solved. As for Ross at that time, he lived in that very trailer park. Now, police are considering his possible involvement in these murders, but so far they have no evidence or they do not disclose it in the interests of the investigation. As for the trial in the Sharlotte case, it is scheduled to begin in April 2024. Despite the irrefutable evidence of his guilt, one cannot rule out that Ross may be offered a plea deal. If he continues to deny guilt, the girl will most likely have to testify in court and describe in detail what he did to her. To avoid such a traumatic experience for Sharlotte, criminals may well offer a deal. Assume I've received a separate text or story here, which I will call the text. Rewritten and formatted version of the text in an engaging narrative style. Here would be the rewritten narrative version of the text. It would follow these rules, approximately the same length as the original. Rewritten to be engaging and narrative. All numbers spelled out, e.g. 5, 6th, 100. No promotional material. Written in English.